paint you a picture. It's the early 90s in Los Angeles, California. You're stopping by the bank on the way home from work and you're really hoping to beat that Friday LA rush hour. Just as you're about to step up to the teller's counter, your transaction is cut short by a group of men in rubber president's masks. They're swinging guns all over the lobby. This bank is being robbed. By Patrick Swayze.
Rock and roll.
Folks, Point Break is more than a bona fide classic, and there's more to it than explosions and gunfights. Point Break is one of my favorite movies. And in case you haven't seen it and I haven't sold you on it this far, the movie also features Keanu Reeves jumping out of a charter plane with a loaded pistol and no parachute. So.
God damn, you are one radical son of a bitch.
This movie on the surface is a buddy action thriller about the most extreme game of cops and robbers that you could possibly imagine. But seeing as its influence has spanned from the iconic first installment of the Fast and the Furious mega franchise to the extremely disappointing 2015 remake, which I'm still recovering from, I figured there's got to be something more to this movie that makes me and everyone else I know cherish it so damn much. It's a story that packs a lot of relatable themes like friendship, love, loyalty, and sacrifice, and it is indeed a real Blue Flame special.
Hey, you're a real Blue Flame special, aren't you, son? Young, dumb, and full of cum. I know.
And what I need to know is, what's Point Break really about? Point Break, directed by Kathryn Bigelow and written by W. Peter Liff, is the story of Johnny Utah, played by Keanu Reeves, a newly minted hotshot agent who's just arrived in Los Angeles and has been assigned to help his wacky conspiracy theorist partner Angelo, played by Gary Busey, to track down and arrest a band of LA bank robbers called the Ex-Presidents, who he believes are local surfers.
Look at the tan line on this guy.
Oh, well, he must be a surfer.
Well, yeah.
When Johnny goes undercover and tries to earn his way into the unwelcoming community of local surfing, his limits will be put to the test as the group's leader, Bodhi, played by Patrick Swayze, takes Johnny to the edge to gain his loyalty and teach him about the spiritual side of his philosophy.
They only live to get radical. They don't have any real understanding of the sea, so they'll never get the spiritual side of it.
This will cause relationships to form, be tested, and even shatter in some cases, as Johnny battles between his obsession with catching Bodhi and his equally as important love and respect for his new family.
You're doing good.
I love this movie so much and for so many different reasons, and some of those reasons don't have anything to do with the themes that we're going to be analyzing today. But seeing as I don't know when I'll get the chance to make another video about Point Break, let me just take you through my top 5 favorite things about this movie. Here we go. Number 5, Gary Busey.
I was in this bureau when you were still popping zits on your funny face and jacking off to the lingerie section of the Sears catalog.
Is that right, Pappas?
Yes, that's right, Harv.
I can't overstate how much I love Gary Busey in this movie as Angelo Pappas. The scene where he's telling Johnny to get him the meatball sandwiches for lunch at 10:30 in the morning is iconic to me.
Right around that corner, there is a sandwich shop. They sell meatball sandwiches. Best I've ever tasted. Would you go get me two?
Number 4, Johnny and Bodhi fighting the locals.
I know. This is where you tell me all about how locals rule and yuppie insects like me shouldn't be surfing the break and all that, right?
This scene is all the way Keanu, and I love that. We see 2 tan dudes beating up 4 more tan dudes, and it gets me jacked up every single time.
Back off, war child, seriously.
Number 3, this line from Keanu Reeves.
Bodhi, this is your fucking wake-up call, man! I am an FBI agent!
Number 2, Patrick Swayze's performance, which in my opinion is the best performance he ever gave.
Okay, man. Okay. I'm screwed. I'm gonna go to jail, and I'll pay, and Johnny Utah gets his guy. Right? Good for you. That's real good. Gonna be a big hero now.
And number 1, the stunt work and cinematography. If nothing else, you'll want to watch this movie for the incredible action and even more incredible cinematography, the way they show you the action. Watch the scene where Reeves skydives without a parachute and tell me how good it looks. And also how real that all seems. Okay, now let's dissect this baby.
You know nothing. In fact, you know less than nothing. If you even knew that you knew nothing, that'd be something, but you don't.
Yes, sir.
Now, this movie really gives you a bit of everything, which ultimately I think is part of why it's such a classic. The characters are interesting, the pacing is strong and it feels swift yet full, and the action in this movie is awesome. I'm not just talking about the fist fights and the pew pew stuff, but the shots of the crew surfing or skydiving or even playing a game of football on the all bring you firmly into the company of these ragtag local surf lords. We get seduced into their world, just like Johnny does. So let's talk about the first thing that I want to break down: the good guy's character arc and how it's influenced by the bad guy's motivation.
Does either one of you have anything even remotely interesting to tell me?
Caught my first tube this morning.
When the movie introduces us to Johnny Utah, he's a youthful, confident, semi-reckless, but ultimately fearless new FBI agent. Johnny wants to be the best cop that he can be, and he's got a bit of an attitude about it. He's the young bull in the precinct who has yet to earn any respect from his superiors or his peers. And as a result, he gets partnered up with Angelo Papas, an old head kind of seasoned agent who's frequently criticized by his coworkers for his wild theories and long-running goose chase for the surfing bandits. When Johnny goes undercover, he's immediately putting that confidence and charm to use as he meets a spunky and sexy surfer named Tyler, played by Lori Petty, and he convinces her to give him surfing lessons. Johnny's entire plan goes into the unexpected territory as he, of course, falls in love with Tyler and the circle of friends that she introduces him to.
Hope you're not buying into this bonsai bullshit like the rest of Bodhi's movies.
There's a scene midway through the movie when Johnny hits the point of beginning to question his original mission.
Is this not the best feeling on earth?
See, Johnny realizes two things in this moment. He realizes that his drive to find the ultimate rush is what really makes him tick. After he rides his first real wave, he feels what it's like to be alive and fully embrace the ride. He's motivated by that fire in his belly, and with that, he also realizes that he and the man he's hunting may not be all that different after all.
I can't do this.
Sure you can. Who knows, you might like it. It's a killer rush.
Bodhi is the leader of the crew, and we will definitely be talking more about him soon, but at a high level, he's motivated by one thing: freedom. The spiritual side of surfing that Bodhi waxes poetic about throughout the film is his way of explaining that the only thing that matters to him is living in absolute peace and being free to do it the way that he wants, not the way that the world wants. Both Johnny and Bodhi believe in this idea, just to different ends. Johnny may be questioning his loyalty, but he's also not about to compromise his mission. So to reconcile the two, Johnny seeks to convince himself that he's doing the right thing, but he's also moving towards telling Tyler the truth as their relationship begins to get more serious. But before he can do that, he's tossed in the middle of a rock and a hard place as the gang suits up as the ex-presidents and hits a bank while Johnny and Angelo are on a stakeout. This causes Johnny to confront his BFFs as an FBI agent and completely blow his cover, before going on an exhausting foot chase with Ronald Reagan himself. But when Johnny finally gets his chance to nab his guy, he chokes and can't pull the trigger. When he looks into the eyes of his best friend, he just knows that he can't shoot. These guys are not just kindred spirits anymore. They're brothers. Johnny's arc continues through the end after he makes one final confrontation with Bodhi, only to catch him and bring him to justice in his own way. Bodhi and his crew had robbed 30 banks, kidnapped Johnny's girlfriend, killed his partner, and ruined his career, and Johnny still lets him go the way that he always wanted, riding the largest break in history before surrendering himself to the ocean and dying at sea. It's only then that Johnny tosses his badge into the ocean and lets his past career die with his friend and enemy. Now, to say that this ending is perfectly satisfying is definitely an understatement, and what I take away after each viewing is that Bigelow and Liff made this film to not only suit their previous work on blockbuster action thrillers, but also to say that why you do something is equally as important as what you do. Which reminds me, check out our episode on Nightcrawler, which dabbles in some of these same themes as well.
I guess we just must have ourselves an asshole shortage, huh?
See, Johnny's goal at first is to catch the bad guy and be the hero, but by the end, he was only interested in catching the bad guy if he could do it by respecting the code among his fellow surfers. There's like a loyalty to his backstabbing that makes everything snap into focus. Life is messy, relationships are messy, and sometimes the idea of right and wrong can be messy. Right and wrong isn't as simple as black and white when you take into account the why of it all, and as such, the bad guys are only bad if the good guy thinks they are, but our good guy doesn't. Now, why do I think this? Well, in the scene I mentioned earlier when Johnny rides his first wave, he kind of lingers behind the crew when they leave to ride out the rush that he's experiencing. Tyler hangs back with him and offers some interesting dialogue.
Well, usually you have this intense sort of scowl, concentration on your face, like you're doing all this for a school project or something. Or like you've got something driving you. Look at it. It's gone.
To Tyler, she's just saying that he looks relaxed. To Johnny, she's saying that he's found something that he wants more than catching a bank robber. He wants to feel something real. What about in the scene where Bodhi forces Utah to rob a bank with them? There's a shot after the shots ring out where Bodhi, who we know does not like violence, is forced to shoot a hostage who is actually an undercover cop with a blicky of his own. You can see that he doesn't want to do this. He doesn't want to have to use a gun to get through the bank, but he has to. He's got people counting on him. He's got goals of his own. What he's doing is still less important than why he's doing it. He wants to live for the rush of chasing waves and seeking adrenaline. But that kind of thing costs money, and he wants what he wants so badly that he'll do things he doesn't want to do in order to get those things. But Johnny would never do that, and that's really the difference between the two. Bodhi probably wouldn't have hesitated to shoot Johnny the way that Johnny hesitates. He loves Johnny, but he wants what he wants, period. Johnny also wants what he wants, but he's not willing to compromise his own morals to get there. But in the end, who really wins? I mean, Bodhi dies, but that's kind of his happy ending as stated earlier in the film. And Johnny doesn't exactly walk away unscathed. He may have ended up with Tyler, but he also lost his partner, his best friend, and his sense of pride in his career that he worked so hard for. So really, nobody wins. And surprisingly, crime doesn't pay. But everybody learns the ultimate lesson, which as we know now is that life and everything in it is a constant overlap of ideas and choices that may highlight or darken your every moral belief. But the only way through it is to try to do the right thing anyway.
Are you through, Mr. Wizard?
Okay, look, I admit, maybe it is a bit of a stretch to say that this incredibly fun action thriller is somehow some huge grand metaphor for the complexities of relationships between people and how those things can affect our goals and our behavior. But also, maybe that's exactly what this is. But what's more important is what you think. So leave a comment down below. What do you think Point Break is really about? Or just tell me if you love it, or if you don't love it, tell me exactly how that's possible. Of course, make sure you like the video if you liked it and subscribe for the very best in movie content. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Goodbye. Hello and welcome back. Happy Friday, everybody. Who's here? Where are my regulars at, everybody? Say hello in the comments. 420, shout out. It looks like this is the first live that you're catching with us. So hello, welcome to the show. You guys are in for a good one tonight. They kept me on a pretty short leash last week with Deadpool and Wolverine spoilers, but this time it's personal. This time we're talking about it all. So I do want to implement a huge spoiler warning for everybody. By the way, hi, if this is your first live you're catching with us, my name's Kier Gomes. I'm going to be your host. We do this every Friday, and I really rely on your guys' comments, so make sure we get those going. Huge spoiler warning is in effect as of like now. I'm not going to waste time giving another spoiler warning later. So if you guys haven't seen Deadpool and Wolverine and you don't want it to be spoiled, I guess I can forgive you if you have to take off here. But please come back and watch it afterwards, because it's still a fun conversation to be had. And that's the truth, you know? I also want to know what you guys thought about Deadpool and Wolverine. So again, any of your thoughts on any of the things we discuss, please feel free to put them in the comments. And as well, I hope everybody had a good week. I can't believe it's already Friday again. It's kind of crazy how fast the weeks go by. But just like last week, I was looking forward to this stream. Feel like I really need it, and I'm happy to be here. So hopefully you guys are too. Brad Perkins says, was that a shamrock tattoo? Good eye. I don't know how you got that. Did I stretch or something? Am I part of the secret society from Glass? Yes, I am. I'm part of the secret society as one of the only people who like that movie. All right, guys. We have some other stuff too besides Deadpool and Wolverine that we'll get into if you guys want. I've been watching the new Batman animated series that came out on Prime yesterday. So I'm about halfway through that. Might talk a little bit about it, and I will avoid spoilers for that one because it is so new. Main topic, Deadpool, Wolverine. The big thing for everybody is the cameos. And some of you, I'm sure, are going to be curious about how I feel about one of them, being that my favorite X-Men of all time was in this movie, and it wasn't Wolverine. I'll tell you that much. Ooh, all right. We already got some good vibes in the comments here, some good critiques. I enjoy individual bits, jokes, gags, and moments, but the plot was garbage. TVA is dumb. Anchor being is really dumb. That's from Anthony Hoffman. Anthony, good take. I don't necessarily disagree with any of that, actually. And I think that even if I did disagree with it, I don't think you're wrong. I think many people would probably validate your opinion on that. You know? Jam Toast, your first Joe Blow live. Well, hello and welcome to Friday Night Flicks. Hopefully you'll join us for future ones as well. It's gonna be good stuff. All right, guys. Keep throwing those comments my way. I'll take them, y'all. I will take them. Now I'm thinking about how I want to play this. Do I perhaps want to cover some other movie news first and kind of warm you guys up for the Deadpool? No, let's not. Let's talk about Deadpool and Wolverine first. Fuck it. We're going for it. And we're more than a minute into the stream, so I think I'm allowed to say the word fuck. If not, whoops, I guess. All right. I'm just gonna pull up some Deadpool and Wolverine B-roll here. I think this is just one of the trailers. We'll just keep it at that. I'm gonna turn off the music just so you guys have visuals. As you know, we like to do some visual things here on the show so that you have more to look at than just this. Man, this movie was about everything that I expected, both good and bad. It's not a perfect movie. I think that the initial reaction, the initial excitement, now that it's sort of, I don't know, worn off a little bit, I think people can speak a little more candidly about their feelings. Let's cut through the bullshit. Did I like this movie? Yes. Will I watch it again? Definitely. Do I think that this is the movie that's going to save the MCU? No, not by a lot, at least not for me. Now, look, it's no secret, and I'm pretty honest about this kind of thing. I'm not in the MCU in the way that I used to be. You know, post Endgame, like many people, it just got a lot to keep up with. I have seen many of the Disney Plus shows, most of the movies, but I don't see everything. I'm at a point now where I actually only see the things that interest me. This movie interests me because I like the other two Deadpool movies. I think they're fun, and I love Wolverine, and I love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. So going into this movie, what did I expect? I expected basically what we got, which was a very thin excuse for a plot, but really it's just an excuse to get these two characters in the same frame so that they can do all the things that we wanted to see. I think when we critique this movie, we have to remember that this movie's intention was not to deliver a great story. And maybe it should have been, but it wasn't. The whole point is that this movie was created so that Deadpool and Wolverine could do this for us. And did they give us that? Oh, yeah. They all the way gave us that. They gave us that in every sense of giving us that. Okay. So I did like it. I do think that it's just not fooling anybody. It's not really like it's not I don't think it's trying to fool anybody into thinking that it's some grand, epic saga that's coming to an end. I think it's really just advertised as the popcorn fan movie that we all wanted and that we all deserve from Marvel now that they have enough of their own IP back to do this. And it was fucking worth it. Was it not? So what's the story? I'm assuming if you're on this stream, you probably saw the movie, so you're probably well aware. Deadpool finds out that his universe, their anchor being, which is a new concept being introduced in this movie, was Logan from Logan. It's already weird to think that those timelines were in the same timeline, but that's okay. I could completely overlook that because what the fuck ever. Why do I care? I don't. I did love the opening scene. I love that they were bold and ballsy with the opening battle and having Deadpool completely desecrate Wolverine's grave and use his adamantium skeleton to take out members of the TVA. That opening scene of the movie, I was like, good Lord, this movie does not hold back. It started off by doing something that Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman specifically said that they were not going to do, which was touch Logan. He specifically said, we're not touching that. And he touched it. He got all the way up in there. All the way. So, yeah. Band X Music. What up? Brand X Music. Excuse me. What up? Hello. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you. Good to have you. Awfully good movie review on X-Men Origins. If you want to see me talk about X-Men Origins and my thoughts on it, we do. We do have a video on that. It's not awfully good. It's just awfully awful. With your host, Kier Gomes. All right, let me get to some of these comments before we keep going. Bumbray, hello. Chris is here. Everybody say hi to Chris. He's not only one of my BFFs, but he also works here at Joe Blow. And he likes to make mention of any time he catches me in a gold chain, which has been every Friday since this show started. Oh, I'm going to have to get some new jewelry here. Conway's here as well. Mike, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. Thanks for being here. I love when my work friends come to support me here on the show. It really does mean a lot. All right, everybody saying hi. Brad, thank you for your hello to the boys. Okay, so let's get back to the movie. So it starts with Deadpool using Wolverine's adamantium skeleton to just completely lay out the TVA. Great opening scene. I thought it was so much fun. It was a nice kind of evolution from the first movie where he had 12 bullets that he had to take out the guys with, and then this one he had 206 bones. I also thought the Gossip Girl joke was funny. I'm one of those lame ass people who got the joke in theater. I didn't have to, like, I already knew Blake Lively was in that show. So I laughed pretty hard, and I felt also that some of the people I saw it with might now understand that I see and understand Gossip Girl. Okay. So the movie presents us quickly with this. Logan was the anchor being in Deadpool's universe. An anchor being, essentially, as it's explained in this movie, is a being in any universe that is so important to that universe that when they die, the universe slowly dies with them. I know that there's probably a million of you that are going to eventually see this movie or see this live stream and go, but wait, what about before Logan was born? How did the universe exist if he was the... I think if I had to fill in the blanks myself, which this movie, it makes you kind of do, there is a lot of exposition, but when there's not, you just kind of have to, you just have to roll with it. It's that kind of movie. If I had to justify this to myself, I would say anchor beings probably are not one of a kind. So maybe the universe, you know, maybe hundreds of years before Logan was born, maybe there was a different anchor being. And then when that one, you know, died, maybe Logan was already born and he was the next destined anchor being. I know that a lot has to ride on that theory, but what the fuck, you know, they don't explain it. So I'm trying to, you know, if anything, I think we should be getting some, I think I should get a writing credit for explaining some of this exposition. So Logan dies. Deadpool finds out his universe is fucked. It's going to die because Logan died. The timeline gets all fucked up because Deadpool's in modern time. Logan dies in 2029. Therefore, he couldn't possibly have... It doesn't matter. So Deadpool decides he's got to find a new Wolverine from a different universe so that he can replace him in his universe and save it from decay. Honestly, I'm not going to lie. That's kind of all the setup I need. I just want to see Deadpool and Wolverine get together and go on an adventure. I don't want to say I don't care at all, but I almost don't care how it happens. You know, they could have told us it was a variant of Wolverine and that just be it. He bumps into Deadpool and hilarity ensues. I would have been fine with that. They did go to a little bit of trouble to try to explain it. And in my opinion, in the process, they made it more complicated. But let's talk about the stuff that matters. How about the stuff that I liked first? How about maybe the stuff that really stands out? When I first saw this movie, there was a moment where I was holding a bucket of popcorn, as you do at the movies, and I audibly made this noise when I saw a certain person appear on screen. I said, and when I said, I also fumbled my entire bucket of popcorn, and I didn't care. I was halfway through it at that point, and I was like, this is insane what's happening right now. Now, here's the big moment. Let's talk about them. The cameos, okay? So, spoiler alert again. I know I said I wasn't going to go there, but I'm going to go there. Oh, whoa. Hi, here's me again. Here's basically, to me, the most important roles in this movie. Some of these weren't even cameos. I want to get your guys' opinion on this, but I don't think that, some of these were straight up just supporting roles in the movie. You know what I'm saying? There was cameos, definitely. But, hold on, I got to get to this comment. Why was Thor crying? Yeah, you know what would be fun? Oh, this would have been a good topic for a giveaway. Damn it, I wish I would have remembered this. Here's what we're going to do. I want you guys to put your best theory on why Thor was crying when Deadpool dies. I want you guys to comment your theories. I would love to read some of those at the end of the show. Please do it. That's a huge call to action. Answer Brad's question. All right, so the cameos. When I saw Wesley Snipes' Blade pop into this, just walk into frame and then stay there for 15 minutes of this movie, I lost it. I dropped my popcorn, as I mentioned, and I was like this the entire time. For two reasons. Number one, nobody ever thought we were going to see Wesley Snipes play Blade again. Nobody thought that, let alone play Blade in kind of a meta way where he's got a line where he acknowledges that he's the only Blade. Amazing stuff. But the second reason is that Wesley Snipes hates Ryan Reynolds from Blade Trinity. They worked together on Blade Trinity, and that was the one where they tried to introduce the what were they called, the Night Stalkers or something like that, with Reynolds and Beale. That was the only Blade movie that I didn't really 100% fuck with, but they didn't like you, like they didn't get along on the set. So I just never thought you would see that crossover happen, because why would you if the two actors didn't get along then? And Wesley Snipes hasn't played, I mean, he's 60 years old, so imagine. And he was good. It's weird. It's like Wesley Snipes, he disappeared for a long time, but you really see that traditional, classically trained actor when he steps back into playing Blade. I mean, we're talking about a movie that he kind of like he owned that role the way Ryan Reynolds owns Deadpool, but in 99. You know what I mean? Early 2000s for the rest of that trilogy. And for him to just come back to it 25 years later, and just snap into it. It was incredible. Maybe my favorite cameo in the whole movie was Blade. Although I kind of mentioned earlier that my favorite X-Men was in this movie. It's obviously not a secret if you're looking at the screen now. Gambit, when he showed up in this movie, I kind of expected it. Let me tell you the thing, okay? This is Joe Blow, okay? Movies is what we do. Movie news is a big part of who we are. I had maybe heard rumblings that there was some involvement or rumored involvement of Channing Tatum as Gambit in this movie. I didn't personally think that it was off the table, because since Channing Tatum never played Gambit, it's kind of a safe bet, because number one, for people that knew he almost played Gambit, very, very pleasantly surprised to see it happen. But then number two, if you didn't know he was going to play Gambit, it's still Channing Tatum, which is still a recognizable actor playing a very recognizable X-Men. It was still it was good. Now, if you guys are ready for a hot take, Ryan Velasco, Gambit. Yeah, that's all I have to say as well. Gambit as well. But if you guys want to know, I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready. It might be too early in the stream for you guys to turn on me. Should I? I'm going to save my opinion, the rest of my Gambit talk. I'll circle back to it. How about that? I will circle back to it. Other cameos, though. How about that fucking Chris Evans cameo? Oh my goodness. That was something. Now, I fell for it. I fell for the trick that they tried to pull. Cartoon Man, awfully good on Quantumania. I'll run that by Jesse. We'll see if we can maybe get on that. Dude, the Human Torch sorry, I'm reading the comment from Omega Swiper. Yeah, that was an amazing cameo. I expected him to be Captain America. So if you haven't seen the movie and you're on this stream, what happens is Deadpool and Wolverine have been pruned into a wasteland. Basically, it's the what's it called from Loki, whatever. Excuse my my ignorance, but I forgot the name of it. So they're in the void. It's such an easy. They're in the void from Loki, and in the void, they're trying to figure out where to go. And they come across none other than Chris Evans, looking maybe like Captain America. He's kind of got the initial demeanor, and this is obviously very much intentional, but he had the initial demeanor of Captain America. He was kind of, I don't know, he was kind of humble, I guess I don't really know the word. He didn't give off the Human Torch douchey energy that you would expect at first. He was kind of heroic. He was a little bit stoic, even, maybe is a good word. And then he does an incredible superhero landing. He sees trouble headed their way. Deadpool thinks it's Captain America. Deadpool goes, he's going to say the line. He's going to say the line. He's going to say the line. And what Deadpool expects him to say is Avengers Assemble. But what he actually says is flame on, and then the reveal is made. This is Johnny Storm from the 2005 Fantastic Four movie. Hilarious gag. I fell for it. I don't know about you guys, but because I knew that kind of any cameo was possible, when I saw Chris Evans so early, I kind of was like, they're not gonna waste. They're not gonna waste. I didn't know how big this movie was gonna go, so I was just like, it'll probably be Captain America, just as a nice MCU kind of thing, and then that'll be that. But it wasn't. It was Human Torch, and he stays in the movie also for a while, only to die a fucking hilarious but horrifying death. Cassandra Nova, we'll talk about her, basically snaps her fingers and his skin comes off and he's just bloody and it's a skeleton of muscle and it's just disgusting. And I also appreciated the post-credit scene kind of calling back to that. It was his own fault. Deadpool didn't get him killed. So that was cool. I like the Johnny Storm cameo a lot. And that one I would consider a cameo. It wasn't much of a supporting role, but it was, more of a, I don't know. It was like more of a, just like a quick one and done. It was more than a cameo, but like less than, I don't know, something else. You know what I mean? And then after that, we had Elektra, Jennifer Garner as Elektra, which I also thought was good. Actually, and I'm going to be honest, I hated the Elektra movie and I hated her in the Daredevil movie. So I went into this thinking I wasn't excited at all for her to be in it, but she was great. She really was great. I was kind of into it and I appreciated her being there. I liked the little Ben Affleck joke. I thought that was fun. Not bad, decent stuff. Whoa, let me catch up on some of these comments. Thank you guys so much for staying up in the comments. Yeah, Human Torch was amazing. Looks like a lot of you guys enjoyed that. Brad, I don't know, Brad, if this is an original joke, I'm gonna tell you this. I have not heard this joke. So if you came up with this is very funny. There was a cameo from Jessica Alba, but she was invisible the whole time. Very good. Very funny. Cartoon Man. Thank you, Cartoon Man, for all the comments tonight, my man. Thoughts on RDJ playing Dr. Doom? I don't know. Are you guys going to be mad if I tell you that I honestly don't even give a shit? Because here's why. Here's what I'm reading between the lines. This is all speculation. I heard the news the day it happened. We had Chris and Mike were at Comic-Con. And so I heard about it like the night before we dropped the video. And it didn't even surprise me. Can I tell you why? It's because Marvel has gone out of their way with this multiverse chapter of the MCU to let us know that anybody can come back. Nobody dead is staying dead if they don't want them to. And why would they want Robert Downey Jr. to not come back to the MCU when he's the reason there is an MCU? We can't forget Robert Downey Jr., he was the punk rock founder of the MCU in terms of talent in front of the camera. So of course they want him to come back. Why wouldn't they? And of course they want him to play Dr. Doom. They want him to play a villain that is nothing like Iron Man, but has connections like being smart or technological or a leader, a natural leader, that kind of thing. So here's my guess. Robert Downey Jr. is going to play Dr. Doom for the 2 movies they said he would. He'll be in Avengers Doomsday, obviously. I think it'll be that movie that we get the reveal that it's just a variant Tony Stark. It's not Victor Von Doom. Maybe that'll be his name or his alias, but it'll just be a variant Tony Stark that didn't build the Mach 1 inside of that cave with a box of scraps. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be our Dr. Doom permanently. I think there's still a chance that somebody like Mads Mikkelsen steps in, and plays a proper Dr. Doom in later films. I think they're just kind of lubing it up with Robert Downey Jr. to restore some of what they lost after Endgame and what they definitely lost after Jonathan Majors was out as Kang. They had to do something. And so that's what they did. I don't see the big deal. I know some people think it's ruining the MCU even more. I know some people think that it's taking jobs from other great actors who could have done it. And I agree. There's great actors who could do it, but they'll get their shot. This shit ain't going to be forever. Robert Downey Jr. is a gag casting. He's a great actor. He's an Oscar-winning actor who's going to do a great job and deliver a good performance. So what do we care? What is the big deal? It's not going to be forever. Eventually, you'll get your fucking, ideal comics accurate Dr. Doom, and I can't wait for that. But I don't think we need to be jumping the gun saying that Marvel's cooked just because they made one slightly obviously desperate move. Can we? Is it that bad? I don't know. And that's what I'm, so that's my thoughts on that. I went a little ham on that. So apologies. Now I did see this comment from Omega Swiper. I have seen that comment before, and that comment is so funny to me because of how like perfect it is. That quote from The Dark Knight, it's perfect for this. Looks like we got a prediction here from the real Mr. Nixon. What's up, Mr. Nixon? The real Mr. Nixon. The reveal will be made in the credits in Fantastic Four. Oh, for RDJ as Doom. Yeah, I mean, probably. That's a movie I'm really excited for. Is the Fantastic Four First Steps? They're calling it. I think it's cool. All right, so that's my quick thoughts on RDJ. Let's get back to some cameos. Whoop. Yeah, man. The Deadpool core. Okay, let's talk about the Deadpool core. Who they didn't get as much play in this movie as I would have hoped. You know what I mean? I kind of thought, why not make the Deadpool core like the main cameos on account of it would be much easier. You don't have to pay A-list actors to be under. I mean, although they did with Matthew McConaughey playing Cowboy Pool. How funny is that? But I thought the Deadpool core would have a larger role. They were really just there for that one incredible fight scene and then nice Pool. He's sprinkled throughout, and Dog Pool as well. I thought Headpool was a great looking piece of CGI for that movie. The CGI was actually better than I expected. I expected typical Marvel shit because the color grading was, non-existent. Look at how gray. It looks like they did everything black and white except for their costumes. The movie doesn't look much better than that in the theater. I kind of got the same Marvel flat, experience. But I got to say, look at those costumes. They're so vibrant that I don't give a shit. They're so good. I love them. Okay. We're going to talk more about my thoughts on Gambit, but I also want to get to one of the greatest cameos in this movie, which was Henry fucking Cavill as Cavalrine, as Wolverine. Dude, I expected kind of halfway to see one of the fan casts. I thought Taron Egerton or Daniel Radcliffe for sure would be a quick cameo as Wolverine, and that's what we would get. What I did not expect was a fully realized Henry. It looked like, those AI images of Henry Cavill as Wolverine that people fuck around and make? It looked like that, but good. It looked fucking awesome. He looked so good, and his teeth are kind of perfect. I never noticed this before, but Henry Cavill has weird teeth that kind of look sharp, like fangs. And that kind of made him like perfect as Wolverine. I am glad that they kept him in like a pair of jeans and a dirty tank top. I thought that was the right move instead of giving him the full like Hugh Jackman garb, the full regalia. But I did like when they showed the prior to the Jim Lee gold and blue outfit was the brown and yellow, almost brown and orange Wolverine costume. And man, did that look good. The Hulk was in it. He showed up as kind of I don't even know if you could call the Hulk a cameo in the movie. You get one shot of him over the shoulder about to go toe-to-toe with Wolverine, and that's what you get. And I'm going to be honest, even that little bit was satisfying for me. I don't know what it is. Like, I'm one of those people who I watched Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness and didn't like it. I didn't like the cameos. I didn't like John Krasinski. Listen, I don't care. We're enough into the stream now. You can get mad. I didn't like John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, and I still don't. I would prefer Pedro Pascal even. And he wasn't my first choice. My first choice would have been like Chidi from A Good Place or something. But anyway, the whole point is I didn't like the way they did the cameos in Multiverse of Madness. It didn't feel right, and I didn't like it. But in this movie, even the smallest cameo I did like the Hulk, I thought was done. So it was just fun. It was just fun to see like a comic book cover in live action with, I mean, I don't know which version of the Hulk it was, but my guess would be that it doesn't fucking matter. It was still sick. But most importantly for the cameos, I mean, I don't know. I think Cavill was my favorite one. But Gambit, let's get back to Gambit. Whew. I don't know if I want to say this and make everybody so mad at me so soon, but I thought the Gambit costume was fucking ugly, man. I hated it. I thought I would love it because it was comics accurate. It looked just like Gambit with the, the headpiece and the swooped hair perfectly coiffed and the pink and the jacket and but man, Channing Tatum, he just didn't he looked he looked like a normal dude cosplaying as Gambit and barely better, you know? And I like that it was comic books accurate. I liked the lore of Channing Tatum finally getting to do it. But to be honest, like the costume looked like shit. And other than the combat and the accent was very funny. I really liked that. Brad Perkins thought it was atrocious. Well, here's the thing: his Cajun accent does sound accurate. Like it sounds Cajun. I can't understand Cajun accents. Like just very similar to Gambit. Like the kind of the way that the dialect is. It is tricky to understand. I thought that was fine and funny, but the costume was shit. And I didn't like his joke. He made that joke about shooting out of his dad's thing. I'm not gonna say it, but you know what he said. And that wasn't funny at all. And that was also not Gambit, So if you're going to give us a comics accurate or a cartoon accurate costume, make the character act like Gambit. Gambit would not have made that joke about his dad's, what, it's, I don't know. I like Channing Tatum, but I don't think that his role in Gambit did him any favors, or his role as Gambit did him any favors, Okay, let's go back to my camera. You guys probably don't want to watch the same trailer 100 times. It looks like some of you, just straight up were not about it. Yeah, I know the accent was intentional. I think the accent was good. That's one of the things I'm saying I liked about it was the accent. It was accurate. I didn't like the costume. That's the only thing I didn't like. I thought Gambit's fight scenes were great. I thought Channing Tatum, was handsome as ever. But the costume was shit. His accent was fine. I have no beef with his accent. I hope the next Deadpool and Wolverine is X-Force. Yeah, I would love to see more Peter. Peter was a great standout in this movie, wasn't he? I thought so. Yeah, so, I think between Johnny Storm and Cavalrine, the movie's worth it just for that. If you want to talk those surprising cameos, Wesley Snipes' Blade, it doesn't get more surprising than that. That was so much fun to see. I kind of wish he would have had his like katanas, but I think Mr. Sunday Movie said it might have been like a rights issue with whoever created or designed the katana. But yeah, now here we go. Karma Aquarius as Peter Pull and Wolverine. That would be a sick movie. Oh yeah. All right, let's take some comments. Do you think we'll get an appearance from Ang Lee or even Lou Ferrigno's Hulk? Cartoon Man, great question. It's funny that you bring that up. I was just talking about how funny it would have been if Lou Ferrigno's Hulk was in this movie. Like last night, I was just having that conversation with a buddy. That's crazy. And to be honest, I hope we don't. I don't like the Ang Lee Hulk movie. I know some people think it's an underrated masterpiece. I think it's just not that good. I don't hate it. It's not the worst movie ever. I'm not that dramatic like everybody else, but I don't love it. And I don't care to ever see that version of the Hulk come back. I don't care. Eric Bana is a good actor, but he'll find other things. Lou Ferrigno, I would not approve of Here's the thing. Lou Ferrigno coming back as the Hulk would be like what they did in The Flash with Nicolas Cage coming back as Superman, where he's too old now to play it the way he would have played it, and therefore there's no point in doing it, right? Lou Ferrigno would look like a 75-year-old, admittedly bodybuilder, but a 75-year-old man painted green. That would be fun for about 1 second. if you're a fan of the old 70s Hulk show. After that, the gimmick wears off and you go, this is actually in a movie I'm supposed to take seriously. This is the thing that people are missing about the MCU and these cameos. And I think even Deadpool and Wolverine might have abused it a little bit, is that you still have to make a movie that people can watch. It can't just be a Super Bowl commercial that's chock full of old characters. And as much as I think the movie was extremely fun, will be watching it again and would recommend. I liked Deadpool and Wolverine. But you got to admit, it's not a movie made for substance. So unless you specifically don't mind that, it's not exactly the kind of movie that you can just watch. It's not, you can't take it serious, you know, because it essentially is telling you that it's all a big joke anyway, that they can do whatever they want and whatever doesn't work gets pruned and whatever does work goes on to the next movie. I don't know. I think people maybe also take the MCU too seriously. Who cares at this point if any of this shit pays off or is planned, as long as we get like the few things that we need from an MCU movie, you know? And I'm at a point now where cameos aren't necessarily one of the things I need from the MCU anymore. I already got Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield back as Spider-Man. I've now gotten the Gambit that never was. I got Elektra back. I got Blade back. The Human Torch. I'm good. I'm done with it. I don't need any more. I don't want to see Lou Ferrigno in the MCU, please. That was a bad rant, but I'm not sorry. The real Mr. Nixon, as long as we don't get an Eternals too. Yeah, I didn't like the Eternals, honestly. I'm not a defender of it. There's a lot of MCU movies that I don't like, you know? I'm going to tell you guys this. Some of the ones that you guys probably hate are ones that I like, and some of the ones that I like are probably ones that you hate. You know what I'm saying? Gory Tiger, sick name. What up? Hello, and great stickers. We got a zombie, a pumpkin, or a jack-o'-lantern. A skull. Man, it's getting me excited for Halloween. Real Mr. Nixon just says Keaton. Keaton. That's another thing I didn't need. I'm glad we got it in the Flash, but can we be done? Is it okay for someone else to do it? You know, do we have to have everybody that you might recognize from your childhood be in this movie? No, we don't. I'm glad we got what we got, but we can stop now. We can focus on what we actually have. We have a great cast with the new Fantastic Four. I don't need to see fucking John Krasinski or Chris Evans or anybody else play the Fantastic Four again until I've gotten the new one. I'm good, you know? And that's coming as a guy. I'm a loyal fan of the comic books of some of these people. Some like I love most of the X-Men, especially the Chris Claremont run, obviously the only X-Men that truly is worth paying homage to in that way. I love the comics, and I'm a loyalist to some degree, but I'm getting a little tired of nostalgia being the driving force here, because Harrison Ford doesn't want to play Indiana Jones forever. And to be honest, why do we want him to keep doing it? We have 5 movies. Watch those movies if you want more Indiana Jones. You don't need 6 of them with a 90-year-old Harrison Ford still trying. It doesn't make any sense. It's not fair to anyone. It's just movies getting made and then people going, oh yeah, that made me happy when I was a kid, and maybe this will make me happy now. And it doesn't, because then everybody does. You put all these expectations on these cameos and these characters and these actors that played your beloved characters, and they want to move on and play other stuff, but they can't, because the roles that are paying the most are the ones that people are clamoring for. So I guess in short, if you're upset that Robert Downey Jr. is playing Dr. Doom, it's your fault that this is happening. Woo! Man, I am juiced on this right now. It's your fault. It's the fans' fault that Robert Downey Jr. is playing Dr. Doom. It's my fault. It's your fault. It's because we keep saying we want Tobey Maguire back as Spider-Man. It's that kind of stuff that makes Marvel do this kind of stuff. How was that? Was that good or what, man? All right, let's move on. Let's take a quick break from Deadpool and Wolverine because there is some other stuff I want to get to. I'm going to keep this spoiler free, but let's quickly just talk about what I've been getting into, which is the Batman Caped Crusader animated series. Another thing that people are probably hating on because for some reason, I don't know, the Penguin's only allowed to be Danny DeVito now. I don't know. Although he is the best Penguin in my opinion. This cartoon is pretty interesting. It's Batman in the 1940s. It's produced by Bruce Timm, who was the director of the animated series, and it takes very many of its cues from that nostalgic animated series. I'm not going to spoil anything for you guys. It's too new. It just came out yesterday, but I'm about halfway through this and it's pretty good. I'm not going to give you guys the typical, it's the best Batman thing ever made because in my opinion, we have still yet to get the best Batman thing ever made. I don't know what it's going to be, but it hasn't come out yet. But this is good. This is quality animation. It's quality voice work. I was very hesitant about Hamish Linklater playing Batman. When I saw the voice casting trailer, I hated it when he said, "I am Batman." I thought he sounded like Bob's Burgers. I thought Batman sounded like Archer at first, but it got good. It got real good. And the show's pretty interesting. I like the way that it uses the 1940s as a backdrop. I really like that. So you guys should check this out. This one be on Amazon Prime. You can watch it there. Ooh, Mask of the Phantasm. Now we're talking, Omega Swiper. That's one of my favorite Batman movies. I love it. I watch it often still. And that movie might have come out. What year was that movie? I think I was like 3 maybe when that movie came out. Brad Perkins says Hamish Linklater was phenomenal in Midnight Mass. Yes, he was. I like Hamish Linklater. I just didn't like him as Batman until I watched the show and then I opened up to it. What do you know? I gave it a chance and I ended up liking it. How about that? We got a Mexican Batman would be dope. Yeah, it would be dope. I would be, I mean, if you get the right actor, I don't give a shit. Batman can be whatever, he's a fictional character. You remember that from Jay and Silent Bob? So he can be played by whoever, as long as they're good. They changed Harley and I don't like it. Why? I mean, I don't know. I don't love it. But like, I don't need everything to always be the same. You know what I mean? That's how you end up with stuff that is just a watered down version. And this is the thing too. People make changes. Everybody gets upset. I'm not saying this is you guys, obviously. You guys, we're all on the same team here. We're a team. We're talking about everyone else. We're talking about everyone else, not us. But people complain because they're like, you know what? Give us something new. Give us something new. Give us something new. They try one thing that's new. And what happens? People don't like it. People are mad because all of a sudden everybody's a big Booster Gold fan and Kumail Nanjiani's not good enough. Why? Who was a big Booster Gold fan before? And who did you see play? Is it just because he's not a blonde guy? Is it because it's not Glenn Powell? These are the things, Oh, yeah. Sorry, man. I know. I should give you guys rant warnings. Shouldn't I? This was a good one. Karma Aquarius. We're a team. I just hope we're not X-Force and Deadpool's not our leader. Just saying. Yeah. We are a team. And this is our leader. Our handsome leader. And all he says, our only job on this team is to love movies. And that's it. So as long as we're doing that, there's gonna be some that we don't like. 'Tis what it is. You know what I'm saying? You feel me, guys? I feel me. I think I'm coming in hot on this because I'm also it's summer blockbuster season, so every movie that comes out, there's just some big headline about it that's juicy and sexy. Like Twisters is the popcorn movie that we all deserve. And that's true, actually. but you know, but not everything is like, I loved Longlegs. I think we talked about this. I don't think Longlegs is the scariest movie ever. I think whoever said that's a liar. I think it's just an amazing movie with a great performance from Nicolas Cage and Micah Monroe. That's what I think. I think it's okay for Deadpool and Wolverine to be a great fan service movie and not a genre defining best comic book movie ever. You know, we can leave that for the movies that give us everything we want and not just the best version of some of the things we want. Does that make sense? Because I feel that Deadpool and Wolverine gave us the best version of some of the things that are important, but they didn't give us everything that was important. You know? Joker Jack Fitak. Cool name. I like the characters because of who they are and who they've been for the last 70 to 90 years. If they want new characters, make new characters. I don't disagree with this, because yes, if you want new characters, make new characters. But what about some of the characters that aren't defined by certain things? Like, for example, the character of Harley Quinn, who has not existed for 70 to 90 years. The character of Harley Quinn is, you know, she's relatively new in the world of comics, or in the grand scheme of things. And that character has never been defined by having blonde hair or, you know, giant boobs, or she's never been defined as looking like Margot Robbie. So, in fact, if you look at the original Harley Quinn artwork, we wouldn't know what color her skin was because her face was fucking painted, you know? So, like, I think that there are times when people are a little more beholden to accuracy, as if the accuracy of the look of somebody has anything to do with the character, you know? And sometimes it does. I'm not saying it doesn't at all, but sometimes there's characteristics that are applicable to any actor regardless of how they look. I think this is why I think it's okay. Like, for example, Constantine, who's a character I really love from the DC universe. Constantine, in my opinion, had to be British, but then Keanu Reeves played him. Keanu Reeves isn't British. He didn't do a British accent. People didn't care, did they? They liked it. They embraced it, didn't they? Why? It's not accurate. It's not the character that's been around for the last 60 years, but nobody had any complaints. So I think people just pick and choose when they don't like something, and they have their own reasons for it, and then they just assign it not accurate as their kind of cop-out answer to why it's not good. Because if you can honestly tell me, like Wolverine, Hugh Jackman plays Wolverine. Wolverine's supposed to be 5'3", as we know from the movie. But guess what? Hugh Jackman's 6'2". He's like a full foot taller, and nobody gives a shit. Everybody loves Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. So accuracy is important to the characteristics, not the height, not the gender always, not the color always of their hair, not the costume. Some of that stuff matters to some characters, but it's not important for every character. And I definitely don't think that making certain changes to keep something fresh or relevant to now, or to bring in new audiences, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's a good way to get more people looking at comics, right? Exactly. Yeah. The height was laughable. No way. Yeah. The Wolverine, the 5'3" Wolverine was so fucking funny to me. When we saw that in the movie, there was a part of me that was like, yeah, that would have been a really dumb idea to get an actor that's 5'3" to play Wolverine, because in live action, it don't translate the way it does on the page. You know what I'm saying? What name did I butcher? What name did I butcher? I didn't butcher a name. Did I? Is it the name Constantine, like Constantine? Is that why? Is it supposed to be like that? Yeah. Some of you guys' comments. Okay, I'm sorry. I feel like I'm, like I'm maybe on one. Some of you guys are loving it though. Thank you. I appreciate this. Zoe Saldana. Oh, you did, not I did. Oh, okay. Well, if you're correcting yourself, then by all means, but don't ever correct me. I'm just kidding. All right, let's talk about some movie news, guys, with the time that we have left. I did not expect this talk. I did not expect this talk to turn into such a rant, but I'm going to be honest, I enjoyed it, and I found it therapeutic being able to just be happily able to say Deadpool and Wolverine is a great movie for the reasons that it's great. It's not high class cinema. It's not prestige filmmaking, okay? Actually, it is good filmmaking though. But it's a movie that was made for people like you and me who just wanted to see Wolverine face off against Deadpool. It's a movie for the geeks that were championing a Channing Tatum Gambit movie 10 years ago and thought we were going to get it. I was reading Joe Blow long before I worked here to get those updates. And so the movie gave me those things. And the rest of the tangent that I went on, I think, is just saying none of this stuff has to be that serious. I think it's great when we can just like movies in the middle of certain things. You know, like I think it's okay that Wolverine's a little taller in live action. I think it's okay that the mermaid was black in Little Mermaid. You know, like these things to me, I think we're just supposed to like movies. And all of that to say, Deadpool and Wolverine, pretty good. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Let's talk movie news. Let's move on. I'm sick of the hot takes. Oh yeah, Dogpool. How did I not mention Dogpool? Hello. Excuse me. I'm sorry I didn't mention that. I loved Dogpool. What an ugly little dog. I loved it. It was so ugly that I could not help but love it. Just like I had the same reaction that Deadpool had. I straight up loved that dog. Omega Swiper. Joe Blow is now the great ain't it cool small site where cool is. Fuck yeah, dude. I don't even know what you said, but I agree with that. I think so much. I think that really speaks to me, actually. Oh hell yeah! Wow, Mega Swiper, you're a real Joe Blow website fan, man. You're one of the real ones. Thank you. I also am on that website every day as a reader as well as an employee. I'm a loyal Joe Blow fan. In fact, shout out to Mallrats, which somehow was the movie that got me acquainted with Joe Blow. That got me familiar with the website. How crazy is that? You guys remember Mallrats? All right, let's talk about a little bit of Murphy news. Here's what I'm excited for, and this is out of the superhero sphere. I don't know how anybody could be upset about this one, so hopefully I'll win you all back over. Matt Damon, he says it's tricky, it's complicated, there's still a lot to get through, but there is interest in a Rounders sequel. Now, this is a sequel I don't mind because Matt Damon and Edward Norton they don't have to play, superheroes. They can just play regular poker playing guys that look a little older, have some city miles on them. This is a movie you can kind of just pick up again and run with it. This is exciting stuff. Now, will it happen? I don't know. There's been on and off rumors of a Rounders sequel for a long time. I really hope it happens though, because to me, this could be kind of a nice, I don't know, a nice rollback to grounded, gritty cinema. And hopefully this could spark interest. And hopefully it doesn't have the inverse effect, which would be a Rounders 2 comes out. It does very well because it's good. And Hollywood takes it as a sign to just dig up old, thrillers and adventure movies from the 90s and revive them. Hopefully what it does is it brings back the idea that people want to see stories about people, gritty, broke, down on their luck, screwed up people. And I kind of miss when we would get a movie like Rounders and that would do big numbers in the box office. I miss those days, but I guess we all kind of do. Yeah, Rounders is a great movie. In fact, I have a rec for you guys, recommendation. If you guys like Rounders, you should check out this indie movie by Mars Callahan called Pool Hall Junkies. It's not a great movie. The acting is not great, but Michael Rosenbaum is in it, and he's awesome. Allison Eastwood's in it, which is pretty cool. But it's basically Rounders, but for pool, for 9-ball billiards. And that's pretty good stuff. I dig it. Yeah. Brad, great comment. KGB still eating Oreos after getting taken for 5 stacks of high society. Here's my impression. If you guys have seen Rounders, Brad, you'll appreciate this. This is my impression of that scene. He bit me straight up. And he's dropping the Oreos like they're poker chips in the middle of the table. He bit me straight up. Oh yeah, Brad, dang man. Good call out. Yeah, Pool Hall Junkies also has Christopher Walken and Chaz Palminteri. Walken is great in that movie. He plays Uncle Mike. He's kind of the benefactor to the main character, Johnny Doyle, played by Mars Callahan. Again, not a great movie. It's just one that, like, that's a movie for the boys. That's one where, like, when I saw it, I was a little kid. I was probably like 12 or something, or 13 when I saw that movie. And I was kind of like jacked up on it. Like, I thought I was the main character for 10 years after that. It took a long time to get over it, honestly. Cartoon Man, thoughts on Training Day starring Denzel Washington? Who doesn't love Training Day? I love Ethan Hawke. I love Denzel Washington. And what's that? That's a David Ayer movie, right? And Eva Mendes is in that. I mean, come on, that's a good movie. Here's the thing with Training Day, though. That is one of those movies that I don't find to be exactly rewatchable under just any circumstances. This is, in fact, let me go back to just me on camera here. Maybe you guys will relate to this. There's certain movies, Training Day is a good example, where it is rewatchable, but it's only really rewatchable if you're showing it to someone who hasn't already seen it. It's kind of the only time that you rewatch that movie is if you're showing it to someone that has never seen it. That's and maybe, I don't know, hopefully you guys relate to that. It's probably maybe just a me thing. Take some more comments. Metal Horror Fanatic. Hello, great name. Speaking of Damon and Kevin Smith movies, didn't Kevin Smith get the rights back to Dogma? I heard that. Here's what that means. Kevin Smith will probably, most likely, be releasing a 4K of Dogma. We might finally get one of the better Kevin Smith movies on 4K. That would be great. Dogma, if you guys haven't seen Dogma, man, what a good movie. For Kevin Smith that early in his career, what a good movie. So yeah, love Training Day. Brad Perkins. All right, Kier, I bet I can tell you where you got your shoes. If I do, I win that bobblehead. Unfortunately, Brad, I know you can tell me where I got my shoe. And actually, you would be wrong because I'm not wearing shoes right now, buddy. You know? Table 4. But that's a great quote, and I appreciate that. If you know that one, you know it, but I think only me and Brad and Jake Drew here know that quote. Thoughts on Good Will Hunting? I like it, man. It's a Robin Williams classic. It's a classic. I would say of that era, Dead Poet Society and Good Will Hunting, 2 Robin Williams movies you just can't go wrong with. I love Good Will Hunting. I think Matt Damon really did something with that role. And Ben Affleck too. Mallrats is your favorite Kevin Smith movie. Wow. Would you guys be interested? Let me know in the comments or in the chat. Let me know if you'd be interested in doing a Kevin Smith episode where we do like a tier list ranking of all of his films. I've seen them all. I'm ready. I've even seen Yoga Hosers, you know? Dogma was his first screenplay, not Clerks. One, I wasn't aware of that, but 2, Clerks was his first movie. So even if he wrote Dogma before that, he didn't make it until well after that, you know? Thoughts on weird Grand Admiral Thrawn? This is strange to me. Grand Admiral Thrawn wants to know my thoughts on Predestination. I literally brought this movie up last night, and I haven't talked about this movie at all since I saw it years ago. So I love Ethan Hawke, as you all know now. Predestination, I actually like that movie. I haven't really been compelled to revisit it. It is kind of a mind fuck of a movie, and it leaves you a little bit exhausted. But man, it's good. It's kind of a, if you guys haven't seen it, and many people didn't see it, Ethan Hawke plays a character who is basically every other character that he's involved with in the movie, and it's because of a paradox where he was born a woman who later found out that they had both parts, and then themselves from the future, who had become a man, came back through time and made love to himself and made a baby that was himself, who became the Unabomber. Tell me that doesn't sound like a movie you want to watch. That's crazy. That's the movie. That's my thoughts on Predestination, is how fucking crazy is what I just said. Because that's the movie. That's the exact movie. And they don't hint at that stuff. That's just what it is, you know? Okay, looks like many of you would like a Kevin Smith tier list. So I'm going to put that on the books. I'll get it on my little to-do list for future episodes. We'll do a Kevin Smith tier ranking. And you know what? That actually comes at a good time, because Kevin Smith's new movie, the 4:30 movie, is coming soon, and it looks very good. So I want to, maybe in honor of that, we'll do a Kevin Smith tier. Ooh, that's good. I'm excited. Very excited. All right, let's get into maybe one more topic from my news roundup. A lot of this stuff, you guys can just visit the Joe Blow website and read about it. But to me, the most important thing of the day has already been talked about, which was my tangent, my rant on multiverse movies. This is the only other thing that I wanted to cover for sure. Today's Kevin Smith's birthday. Hey, happy birthday to Kevin Smith. Happy birthday, Kevin. You know what? Shout out. Oh, sorry, I had to take my poster down. Shout out to Kevin Smith and my brother, who got me this signed Clerks 3 poster. It's signed by Jason Mewes and Kevin Smith. Pretty sweet, huh? Bet you guys are jealous you don't got that. Look, I keep Kevin Smith around me at all times. I got the comics here. So big fan. Happy birthday, Kevin Smith. All right. This is the last bit of news I want to talk about. This I thought was interesting because this article was published, if you look, very shortly after our last live stream, which was talking about Karate Kid. The Cobra Kai creators, who we have to credit, definitely know their Karate Kid. They're looking into doing a Miyagi prequel series, probably on Netflix, right? How do we feel? I am down. I'm down. It's a prequel, so you don't have to be like, well, you can't. It's going to disrespect Pat Morita. No, it's not. It's a prequel. They get somebody good. It doesn't even matter. That could be good. That could be good. The one thing I'm concerned about, are we doing a little too much with Cobra Kai and Karate Kid now? Because there's also the Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan movie coming out for Karate Kid. Not to mention, we're in, the final season of Cobra Kai, or one of the final seasons of Cobra Kai. So I don't know. Do we need more? I mean, I would rather see a Miyagi prequel series than like another season of Cobra Kai. Even though I love that show, I would rather spend some time like in Okinawa in like the 70s or 60s with Miyagi just before he came to LA. That would be sweet. I got to be honest with you, Omega Swiper. A lot of your comments speak to me. They really do. If Obi-Wan can get a prequel, so can Miyagi. Totally. They're both mentors, who were badass in their own right. Yeah. Whoa, Metal Horror Fanatic. That is a sick. You've got Clerks and Mallrats theatrical posters signed by some of the cast, a lot of the cast even. That is amazing. That's really cool, man. Hang on to that kind of stuff. These are the things that matter, is these moments of meeting people that we admire, of them signing things that mean something to us. Let's hang on to that, Juan M. Aguirre, I love Karate Kid, as do I. Huge fan of Karate Kid, especially the first one, of course. But there's some good stuff. I like Cobra Kai as well, which is a recommendation. Jeff Anderson, Brian O'Halloran, Mewes, Smith, Veronica, and Mallrats signed by decent amount. Oh, okay, great. So these were the people that signed your poster. Yo, if you're trying to sell it, hit me up. Oh, and Brad, thank you for reminding me. Brad, you're one of our MVPs this episode. Thank you for reminding me. Dexter. There's a deck. Oh, I'm sorry. And Brad, that wasn't you. Excuse me, Mr. Nixon. I apologize. These comments get the better of me sometimes. The Dexter prequel. Ooh. I don't need it. I don't want it. But let me tell you what I need and want even less is that they announced that there's going to be a Dexter Resurrection sequel season. Way to fuck everything up. Even worse than you already did. What a bad idea. Don't do it. But they're doing it. Michael C. Hall is coming back. I love Michael C. Hall. Let him do something other than Dexter. This is RDJ coming back as Dr. Doom all over again. I didn't answer your, I'm sorry, to Cartoon Man. I didn't see your question on the next Karate Kid. There's a lot of comments coming in, and I do happen to miss some of the important ones. If you're asking what my thoughts are on next Karate Kid, not a fan. I thought the school cops, like the Alpha Force cops, were a dumb idea, and I don't like Hilary Swank very much. So I guess there's that. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, I don't know about the Dexter prequel either. 420. I agree, man. I don't think it's necessary, but listen, I know we love Dexter. I was a loyal. I've seen it all. I even read the Marvel Dexter comic books, which if you didn't know, they exist. They were written by Jeff Lindsay, the same guy who wrote the books, and they're even worse than the books. And let me let you guys in on a secret. If you like Dexter the TV show, good. The books are absolute garbage. I have read them and I hated them. All of them. I didn't like a single one of Jeff Lindsay's books. I liked the show, did not like the books. Not interested in a prequel, not interested in another sequel. I just like what we had. The problem is they keep trying to fix what they keep doing. They keep ruining the ending and then trying to fix it. Just stop. Just stop trying to fix it. What could Dexter do now? He's going to be not dead again. He's going to be like, I don't kill anymore, but now I have to because my son kills people now. I don't give a shit, man. You should have died season 5, season 6. You know? Woo-wee. You guys got me all heated again. You see what's going on? The longer I talk, the more worked up I get myself. Woosah. I'm okay. But guys, that has been Friday Night Flicks. Let's plug some merchandise. If you guys want to get your delicious Joe Blow merchandise, I actually have that one. You guys check out our shop. We got mugs, we got t-shirts. We specialize in giving movie fans the kind of stuff that they like. They're movie quotes, but they're a little more tongue-in-cheek. We got that Point Break one. I know from the pre-show that a lot of you guys are into Point Break. So let's check out the merch, and I'll tell you what. Why don't you go pick yourself up a shirt, pick me up a shirt as well, okay? Give me 2. Utah, give me 2. All right, guys, go grab your merch. Tune in next Friday. We got another Friday Night Flicks coming. I'll look into what we can do as far as a Kevin Smith tier list. I don't know if that'll be next Friday. We'll see if there's anything bigger that I want to cover, but for those of you that want to see that, please make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. We definitely will get to it. Okay. I love you all. Thank you guys so much for being here on the stream. And thank you for just being a safe place for me to rant about movies. You guys are truly the best. And I'm starting to really enjoy hanging out with you every week. And that's just coming from me to you. So love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Ooh, a Mike Flanagan tier. Last thing. Sorry, Brad. Yes, a Mike Flanagan tier list. I'll have to check with our producers. It's horror, which we don't usually cover here. So, but that would be a good idea. I'm going to play the outro now. Bye-bye.